Cruise ships have become international pariahs, unwelcome at ports around the globe. On the Zaandam near Panama, coronavirus has killed 4 people. While at least 2 others have tested positive, nearly 190 have flu-like symptoms. The remaining passengers are in lockdown.
This is the room we have been in for 8 days now.
61-year-old Shirley McLaren and her partner Stephen Shepherd joined the cruise in Buenos Aires earlier this month.
We were on a cruise of a lifetime around South America. We were supposed to be doing the glaciers and the fjords through the Patagonia. At the time when we left, we had no idea what coronavirus could be like.
Shirley has sleep apnea and needs this machine to help her breathe at night. Coronavirus attacks the lungs.
It just ensures you get controlled pressure during the night to stop your esophagus from falling down and blocking your airways. If we didn't go on the cruise, we were not going to be refunded. So we went. I wish we hadn't.
Hopes were raised when hundreds of healthy passengers were transferred from the Zaandam to a nearby sister ship, the Rotterdam. Shirley and Stephen passed the health checks to transfer, but were left behind.
We sat for hours and hours and hours waiting to be transferred, and we weren't told anything.
How are you doing, darling?
I'm okay. How are you holding up today?
Today's been a much better day than yesterday.
Shirley's daughter, Rachel McNamara, can only watch and wait from afar.
You're handling it a lot better.
I'm really upset that she hasn't been able to move to the MS Rotterdam, which I hope would lessen the chances of her catching the virus.
Those on the Zaandam are now at the whim of foreign governments that are struggling to contain outbreaks in their own countries. 70-year-old Lucille Brown and 69-year-old Robert Brown are also stuck on board.
Over 90% of people on board are just regular mums and dads, nanas and pops that would give their right arm for their children and their grandchildren.
We're happy to go into whatever quarantine or self-isolation is required. We just need the compassion of some of the ports to allow us to dock and get people off. It's a humanitarian issue on this ship now.
Their next port of call is Florida in the US, now the country with the most cases in the world. In Australia, there's a 30-day ban on cruise ships, but exceptions have been made for several arrivals. But on the other side of the country, in Western Australia, they're turning back the ships, with 2 international liners told to stay away. The Royal Australian Navy nearby, in a maritime standoff between the government and several ships. Victorian Erica Randall and her 75-year-old mum were on the Vasco de Gama.
My mum's friends had booked the trip and they asked my mum to go along, and it was her 75th birthday. So this sounded like a great trip for us to do for her 75th birthday. My mum's never travelled before at all. So there's mum out there, she's sending notes home.
But ports began to close and the ship was diverted from Thailand to Fremantle.
When we left Australia, we checked all of the Smart Traveller websites, all of the warnings, we spoke to the cruise company, we spoke to our travel agent. All of that information indicated that we should still go on the cruise.
Authorities scrambled a plan to have Australian passengers quarantined on Rottnest Island and hotels on the mainland.
I guess I have fears that we're going into some type of prison lockdown, and that obviously is a really scary thought.
Days went by. They watched New Zealand passengers disembark farewelled with music. Then Germans from a nearby ship.
Yeah, so they seem to be walking down, then they take their masks off, they take a photo of them, and then they get on the bus.
Finally, after days of conflicting messages and false starts, the Australians were allowed to get off.
How are people feeling on board? Maybe ask Mum. How are people feeling on board?
Actually very stressed. People are, some of the older people are getting really frail and fragile.
This idea that people have out there is actually really frightening as well for us on board. We sort of feel like we're the unclean, or that we're treated, it's like we're being punished for going on the cruise.
After her initial nerves about being quarantined in a 5-star Perth hotel, Erica is thankful to be on dry land and to have her health.
Quite emotional coming off the ship. Probably wasn't as prepared for how emotional it was getting back onto Australian soil. First day of quarantine, happy, healthy, looking forward to the next 14 days.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.